All right, thank you everybody for being here tonight. Of course, tonight is our IN.Form Metabolic Age Transformation class, week number 1. As those of you who were here last week for the intro classes, you know that this class runs from an 11 to 13 week class program, and tonight's number 1. So tonight what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about the basics of this program, of the IN.Form program. We're going to talk about what all the quote-unquote requirements are to follow it and get to those clinically studied numbers that we looked at last week, and make sure that we can get you on the success to where you want to be at. So we're going to be covering the nutrition portion of the program. We're going to be covering some of the topics on the actual classes themselves, talking about exercise, and then of course we're also going to be talking about the supplements and the shakes and how we use those and incorporate those into the program of itself. So again, my name is Charlotte Yisrael. For those of you who don't know, I am a certified natural health professional, herbalist, iridologist, Reiki master, IN.Form coach, and a couple other little things that are not necessarily worth mentioning, besides a mother of 5, which of course is very important to me as well. I've been in the business 20 years, was being diagnosed with MS, multiple sclerosis in my mid-20s, and that's why I'm here before you today. I was highly favored with information on how to heal myself naturally without the use of prescription drugs. And of course I didn't want to go that route because they told me I'd be in a wheelchair by the time I was 30. And so by getting into natural health, learning about supplementation, learning about nutrition, learning about all the things that the Creator had given us originally to be healthy and to be healed was what I utilized. And so obviously after my healing took place, I figured I needed to get on a soapbox and share my information with as many people as I possibly could. So doing this class actually helps facilitate that for me, and I'm very happy to be here as your IN.Form coach to help guide you through the next few weeks. Shiree Horner, you want to come up real quick? Shiree is also an IN.Form coach. She just recently certified, and so I'm very excited to have her assistance on Tuesday nights, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about herself real quick.
I'm a personal trainer, have been for the last 16 years, and as well as nutrition coach to some degree. I started this class because actually for my husband, because I thought, I've made so many changes myself. I'm a personal trainer, I know a lot, I cut out gluten, all these things that I had changed. And so I started the class for him, but the amazing thing is I got results with it, things I didn't expect. And so I'm interested in supporting healing with things that are natural. I'm on medication myself, and so for my thyroid, and I wanted in time to be able to reduce that or to support it naturally. I also have, it's kind of similar to Shar, I went through the whole process of I had a connective tissue disorder, I had pain, I had surgeries. I was trying everything out I could to try to help heal, to feel better. And so I tried a lot of things over the years. I've actually done a lot of physical therapy as well as with a lot of my clients. And so the IN.Form program was the first time I could actually take a supplement that made a difference with my pain. And so I'm just learning as I go, just like some of you guys too, learning from Shar. And I'm just here for assistance.
Yes, wonderful. Very excited to have somebody helping me, and I'm very excited with somebody that has the background that Shiree has. And so I want to personally thank you, Shiree, for being a part of all this with us. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the class in of itself. I do want to start off with, and I said this in the intro class, but just for another reminder, we are focusing on the gut microbiome. That microbiome, also known as probiotics, that reside in the gut and keep us healthy from the inside out. As we talked about in the intro classes, all diseases, all health concerns, health issues actually are a domino effect from the gut. So that's one of the reasons why this particular program is so revolutionary, is because we are actually getting to the root of our health issues. Whether you're here for depression, whether you're here for more energy, whether you're here to get off of diabetes medication, whether you're here just because you want to learn more about how you can be healthier and be more in control of your life, you're at the right place, because that's what this program is going to do for you. It's going to help you really fill your tool belt full of lots of tools, so that way you know what you need to do for yourself specifically to be as healthy and as vibrant as you choose to be, okay? So we're looking at the gut microbiome. And so I like to begin off reminding everybody from the intro class that Hippocrates, who lived between 400 and 300 BCE, literally said, all disease begins in the gut. All disease begins in the gut. And so here we are over 2,000 years later, kind of just figuring it out. And that's what this class is all about. So next thing I like to do is I kind of like to get an idea as to why everybody's here. We have a few more people here tonight than I anticipated, so I'm going to pick on the people that were here for the intro classes. And if you would introduce yourself and give us an idea as to why you're joining this class. Frankie, do you want to start? Here because of Lynn. All right, good reason. Good reason. Anything else you want to add to that, or is he going to stick to your? Okay. Wonderful, Georgetta.
Cherie and Nettie introduced me to it, and Mary. The
Mary
over the
Robichaud,
wall
yes.
over here. And I'm just wanting to lose weight, feel better, heal the gut, all that.
Wonderful. David.
Can't you tell why I'm here?
Go. So here because of Georgetta and you just want to be healthier, right? Okay. Sarah.
I'm Sarah Tebow from Enid, and I work with Shiree when I can to, for her exercise program. And I'm overweight, and I have no energy, and I've gone through several things that probably.
Wonderful. Great. Jennifer.
I'm Jennifer Dehass, and I'm here because of Nettie, who talked to my husband about coming, and my husband had a surprise for us in July. I'll let him tell about that, but I myself just want to be healthier and lose weight, feel
Wonderful.
better, have energy.
Thank you. Now you don't get to have the same response these two guys did, Justin. It's already been taken.
She set me up for a surprise.
What a surprise. Why are you with us, Justin?
Okay, surprise, I'm not pregnant. Everything went okay there. I've known Nettie for several years also, and I started having some chest trouble, some pains, went back and forth to the doctor. Long story short, had open heart surgery July the 13th, Friday the 13th. I do some work for Nettie, so in the process, I was telling her I'm basically going to be on the disabled list for a while, and she started telling me about this class and how she wanted me to come to this class after I got healed up, and so here we are.
Wonderful. Great reasons to be here. Thank you.
Yes.
I also want to point out Pam back here in the corner. Hi, Pam.
Hi.
Pam has been one of our informers. I think you were with last September, right? So actually, Pam was one of our first informers in this space. I've actually been teaching the class for 20 months, but we had it in another space before this. So she was one of our first participants in this particular space here. Pam, can you tell us why you're rejoining us?
I'm rejoining because of my friend that's going to join now, and also I've told her all along about all of the information, how informative this is, and I kind of want to get back on track too, lose a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just very informative, all the information that you learn from this class.
Wonderful. Thank you. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Yay. All right. So, of course, I'm here because I love to teach natural health. So that's why I'm here. It really brings me a really big joy to see people who are not feeling their best turn around in a matter of 13 weeks and start to feel their best, see things happen that they didn't even expect. We had one of our gals who was here last night, and she just was like, I can remember more. And I thought, well, you know what? If you got a better memory, then that's great. But there's just so many things where I've been able to witness people over the last 20 months. I've seen people get off of metformin, which is a diabetes medication, which is Miss Mary here. She was off in 3 weeks on this program. Nettie's husband, Terry, you guys probably heard the word Nettie a few times. He was off his cholesterol medication, his diabetes medication. His A1C numbers came down tremendously. I've had people get off of high blood pressure medication, and there's a lot of people just overall feeling better, and it's just a beauty for me to be able to watch people do this, and it fulfills my passion and my gift that I've been given. So I want to thank everybody for being here tonight so I can continue to do that. All right, so for those of you who have already registered for the class, you've got a little green folder here real quick. I want to go over this real quick to make sure you know what this is all about. Of course, you've got your manuals. You'll be bringing your manuals to your class, to the classes every single week. This is where we're going to get lots of information as we build your lifestyle awareness for a healthy life. But this green little folder should come with you as well. For right now, you're going to have this little piece of paper in there that we've already written some information on. I need you to take some time tonight before the end of class or at the end of class and fill out all the highlighted areas for me. And then I've got an inbox right there that's right above Sharon's head. If you could put that in there for me when you leave tonight, for those of you who have already registered, then I'll have that handy so I can get the beginning number started for you. After that, you may have a little flyer in here. This is a flyer on the actual class itself. If you know of anybody who's interested in the class or you want to know more yourself, there's some information on here as well about the class. I just like to be able to promote that a little bit and let everybody know what that original flyer looked like. The last thing over here on this side is a little IN.Form chart. And the reason I put this in here is I love visuals. And the thing about this is it has IN.Form in the middle. And what it says is IN.Form is going to help with stress eating, with energy, with water retention, with metabolism, appetite, snacking, cleansing, digestion, all sorts of things. And so I just want to remember we keep that visual in front of us, that what we're doing addresses any issue you may possibly have by addressing it with IN.Form and this clinically studied program and getting that gut healthier, okay? On this side, for those of you who have not ordered product yet, there is a sign-up sheet where I can help you get ordered. If you don't have that, for those of you who have ordered, you're going to have a copy of that in there already, so you've got your information on that. The second sheet that's in there is just all your membership information about Nature Sunshine, about who they are, and all the ins and outs, policies, and all that good stuff. The last one in there is called your Sunshine Rewards. Nature Sunshine does have a special auto ship program where you can save on your shipping. There's zero shipping as long as you do an auto ship every month, and you also get free product with that. So there's a couple of different ways to sign up for the product. I can talk to you about that more individually after class for those of you who have not signed up yet, but that is an option for you. Even if you have signed up, it's still an option for you to do that Sunshine Rewards. So that's your little green packet that you're going to be bringing with you to every week's class, okay? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get started. If everybody wants to go to first of all, almost there. So I don't have a manual in front of me, so if you can just turn the first 2 pages of your manual, and on the back side, and David and Georgette, Justin and Jennifer, I have extra sheets on this for you. You're going to see a weekly progress log is what you're going to see. Can I borrow this real quick? This is what it looks like all filled out, but it's not going to be filled out. So it's right there. I guess it's like Roman numeral number 1 or something. But anyways, it's right there in the first couple pages. This is where you're going to keep track of your weekly BioTrack assessments. So when we got on the scale tonight, everybody's going to take the numbers off of that sheet that Shiree or I filled out for you, and you're going to put those numbers under week number 1. Okay, so you're going to put your weight, body fat, water, hydration, metabolic age, your measurements all under week number 1. And then when we get together next week, we'll do the BioTracker again, and we'll put it under week number 2. So this way we can keep track of what's happening with your metabolic age, what's happening with your visceral fat, what's happening with your hydration. And in addition to that, what this really does, it really helps me help you, because these numbers are going to kind of tell me what direction we need to go. If you're somebody like Lynn here who is a vegetarian, we had to do a little extra work around the protein thing to help her out. I've had other people who drink a lot of water, but their hydration levels don't go up. So what we have to do is we have to take a step back and say, okay, how can we get more hydration into the cells? Because obviously drinking more water is not doing it. But these numbers here really help me help you, and that's why we do these BioTracker numbers every week, is so I can give you a little bit of individualized attention in addition to the weekly classes we do as a group, okay? Any questions about that? Yes,
Today's
Sarah.
our start date?
Today is week 1,
And
yes.
so you just want today's information?
Yes, today's information. Any numbers you got in your intro class, those numbers we're not using, we're using the ones you got tonight. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the manual, page number 2. Oops, went a little further there. Actually, page number 1. So tonight is module number 1. Every week we will be going through a different module. There will be a couple of weeks we will put a couple of modules together. But that won't be till later on in the program. But for now, we are going to be concentrating on module number 1, which is getting started, the program overview. So on page number 2, I want to stress we need to find out why we are gaining weight. We need to find out why we are less healthy, why we're on more prescription drugs than we ever have been, and why are we aging quickly. This program is going to help us figure that out. It's going to help us get to the gut of the problem. And literally, the gut of the problem is where we're at. So when we're looking at the gut in of itself, just by healing that gut, we're going to work on all of these different body systems, your immune system, hormonal system, respiratory system, you name it, by getting to the gut of the problem. Now, the thing you have to realize is there's a word called metabolic disorder. Has anybody heard of the word metabolic disorder or metabolic dysfunction? Okay? It's very, very new, very cutting edge, as some would say, even though Hippocrates was talking about it over 2,000 years ago. But really what it's related to is how our gut is functioning. If our blood sugars are out of balance, if our hormones are out of balance, all those things come from the gut. So by addressing the gut, we're going to have success. The things you need to realize is that in your gut, you have live critters. You also have live critters in your sinus passages, in your respiratory system, on your head, on your arms, and on your hands. These are called microbes, also known as microbiota when we look at it as a neighborhood or as a group of. These microbes, or this good bacteria, is part of your immune system, and they outweigh your cells 10 to 1. So we know we have a lot of cells in our body, right? But did you realize you have 10 microbiota per cell? So we can always work on healing at the cellular level, but really what we need to do is we need to work on healing at the microbiome or the microbiota level, because that's where our true immune system is carried. Literally, when you shake somebody's hand, you literally exchange microbiome or germs or bacteria or whatever it may be. All right? Literally, that we exchange these millions and millions of times each day alone. So by addressing the gut microbiome, we help the whole body be healthier from the skin all the way in. Too many of these, so the other thing we have a problem with, and this is why we're doing this class, is 98% of us have an imbalance of microbiome in our gut, which means we have more bad bacteria or bad microbiome than we do good microbiome. And that's what this program focuses on, is eliminating that bad bacteria. If you were here in the intro classes, we talked about how we are going to starve and eliminate that bad bacteria so the good bacteria can be in control. This is where our cravings go away. This is where dis-ease goes away, is when the good bacteria is in charge. But pretty much most everybody in this room probably has bad bacteria that's in charge. And we're here to change that by doing this program. So when we talk about that bad bacteria, one of the things that we're going to do to address that is our nutritional plan and our supplements, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But that's the whole focus, is to get rid of that bad bacteria, create a healthy environment for the good bacteria, and feed that good bacteria so it can be really healthy and vibrant and keep all of the body processes functioning properly. So we're going to reorganize the gut. That's another way we like to do it. So, question for everybody. Raise your hand if you have an answer for me. How does our gut go from healthy to unhealthy? Cleo's right here.
Chloe?
Chloe, jeez. I'm not getting straight, Sue.
I don't know.
Can anybody tell me how possibly, yes, David? Feeding it the wrong thing. So foods, great. I had a hand back there also.
Re-ask the question.
Oh, so how do we go from healthy to unhealthy? How does that happen?
Viruses.
Viruses? What else? Antibiotics, prescription drugs, you bet, exactly. Any other ideas?
I think if you age a little bit, we're not the same at 20, we're not the same at 30, 40, 50, so age has something to do with it too.
And that also could kind of be stressful, right? So stress, for whatever reason, whether it's from aging, can also be a really big reason as to why we go to unhealthy. Yes, honey?
Water's contaminated.
Contaminated water, you bet. Pollutants in our air and our food and our water, most definitely. That would be environmental pollutants, so you hit that one on the head. I had 3 of them here: unhealthy foods, stress, and environmental pollutants. Those are the things that we're going to be discussing in this class and making sure that we're getting rid of those things so that we are feeling much better. So page number 3 talks about this clinically studied program. This is a clinically studied program. It isn't something that's new. They did take a lot of time and made sure that they really got the synergistic effect with this class together, with the nutrition and with the supplements and everything that goes along with it. We talked about this a little bit more in the intro class, so I'm not going to share extensive information on that, but just a little bit for our new people here tonight. But we do want to give credit to understanding that this particular metabolic age program has done wonders for many people, which includes 12% greater reduction in body weight, 21.5% reduction in fat mass, 51% greater reduction in triglycerides. Who knows of a program out there that addresses your triglycerides? I do, and it's one. It's this one. 18% greater reduction total cholesterol. These are the type of results that these clinically studied trial programs were showing. The thing they're talking about underneath that space on that page is a competitive advantage. I do like to bring out, this is not a weight loss program. Although, if weight loss is your goal, weight loss will happen with this program. Most of your weight loss programs out there are just trying to get you to lose weight, but they're not trying to get you to lose the right kind of weight. We don't want to be losing bone mass. We don't want to be losing muscle mass. We want to be losing fat mass, where those toxins from that bad bacteria like to hide at. Okay? So even though it's not a weight loss program, weight loss is a major result of this program as your body comes back into balance, if that's something you are working on getting towards. So keep that in mind. This is what makes us different than Weight Watchers. This is what makes us different than Jenny Craig, than all the other weight loss programs out there. This program is meant to give you lifelong results, put you in the driver's seat of your own health. You make your own choices, your own left turn, your own right turn, whatever you want to do, and you can be healthy for the rest of your life from the information that's going to be shared in this particular program. If we want to compare this to some of these popular weight loss programs, this is what we're seeing. With IN.Form, you are having an increased weight loss between 44 to 123%. And it doesn't have a tendency to come back on when you're done. Increased fat loss between 15 to 233%. Greater improvements in triglycerides, total cholesterol, and LDL cholesterol. This is the only program that's out there that addresses those specific biomarkers, this specifically. The next page, on page number 4, these particular results are full IN.Form versus IN.Form without the actual supplements and the shakes, okay? So we had 2 groups of people that did this 90-day trial, right? We had the people who did the nutrition, they did the exercise, they did the classes, and they did the supplements. And then we had a second group that did the nutrition, did the exercise, did the classes, but did not do the supplements. So we compared the progress between these 2 groups. These numbers here on this page reflect literally how much more the group that did the supplements and the shakes increase with their results. They had 56% more weight loss, 65% more fat loss, 125% greater reduction in systolic blood pressure. There we go. 66% greater reduction in triglycerides, 129% greater reduction in cholesterol. So you can see that the products that go along with this program really accelerate your results. Okay, so the other things, like I've said, we've seen reduction in blood sugars, people getting off of meds. The one thing I like to bring up at this time, if you're for sure doing the program, if you've got some recent blood work, I would make sure you get a hold of that, get a copy of that from your doctor and have a hold of it. I have a lot of people who really like to see the results on blood work before and after the program. So I like to always kind of throw that out there because it's kind of like this is now the time to do that. One of our informers, he had his done 8 weeks in. His A1C dropped just under 2.0 in 8 weeks. And his cholesterol went, the total cholesterol went way down, almost in half, actually. Marietta?
No,
Oh, okay. So just so you know, if you're interested in doing that, that is something I highly recommend if it works in your program to do so. Page number 5. Go with your gut. How will this program and what will this program do for you? And I'll let you guys read through that all more specifically, but just to highlight a couple of things, this is going to support gut health to combat endotoxins. Now, endotoxins are those toxins that bad bacteria is talking about. It's a live organism. It metabolizes, and when it metabolizes, it puts off toxins. So now are we not only eating toxins, drinking toxins, and breathing toxins, but our own bad bacteria is making toxins, and that's called endotoxins. And that's one of the things that we really want to get eliminated with this program. I've had many people come to me over the years. They exercise perfectly, they eat perfectly, they have a moderate amount of stress, they deal with things well, but yet they're still unhealthy. All of it's because they never got rid of the bad toxicity and the bad bacteria. And that's what needs to happen for full health. This program is going to help repopulate and optimize the beneficial bacteria. It's going to reduce your risk for heart disease. It's going to promote muscle recovery and more lean muscle mass buildup. We're going to help create a better healthy body composition, modulate the oxidation of LDL cholesterol, help you with maintaining healthy blood pressure levels, supporting a better mood, and also helping you with healthy insulin response. Other things I've seen is people sleeping better, people not having cold hands and cold feet, people with less depression and their mood just feels better, skin clearing up, all sorts of different things I've seen personally on this program alone. And you may be surprised what happens with you. I know when Miss Mary started with us, we were really just focusing on the diabetes and the kidneys a little bit, but she ended up having a reduction of her neuropathy, her vision got better, and of course her eliminations got more consistent. So all sorts of things can happen, and I just want to prepare you as you go through the program because you never know what's going to happen and how you're going to feel better. Page number 6 talks about the actual product system itself. So along with the program, what we're doing is this IN.Form Metabolic Age Support Kit. And like I said earlier, this is a clinically studied program with the synergistic effect of these particular supplements. These particular supplements have been studied and put together to get the results that I was just talking about. It's really important that you can do all of these together. You need to make sure you're using a really good source, a product. You need to make sure you've got a company who's checking quality and purity and all sorts of different things. And Nature's Sunshine is one of those companies that do that. In fact, Nature's Sunshine has been around longer than any other herbal company in this country. They were the first ones to put herbs in a capsule. I think it's pushing 50 years, 1972. Yeah, we're almost there. So in 1972 is when the company actually opened up. They put capsicum in a capsule because the husband of the co-founder team was tired of drinking capsicum because of his ulcer, and he decided, his wife one day said, well, let's put some in a capsule and do it that way, and that's how this company was born. But I've worked with them for 20 years, over 20 years now, and honestly, for the best product purity, the source, the right constituents, all of those things, you're going to find it with this company. So I really want to make sure that everybody understands that there's many factors that go into supplements, especially these days, because you can find 15 different vitamin C's if you go to Walmart or Walgreens on the wall. Okay. So in this particular program, what we're doing is we're going to be doing a probiotic, and this probiotic is a little different. It doesn't have to be kept in the fridge, although you can. And it can be taken with meals. This is your good microbiome. This is the microbiome, the healthy fish, as we talked about in the intro class, that we're putting in, okay? The other one is the berberine. Berberine is the original form of metformin, which is a very popular diabetic medication. So berberine acts to balance blood sugar levels. When we balance blood sugar levels, we don't have unhealthy cravings, we can focus better, we have more energy, all sorts of things happening with berberine. That's the main thing berberine does. But not only does berberine help with balancing blood sugars, remember that word endotoxins? Berberine pushes those endotoxins out. It actually attaches to the probiotic, drives the probiotic in, and pulls out the extra endotoxins. This is one of the ways we're going to be getting rid of that bad bacteria's metabolism side effects that it has for us, okay? You'll be taking one of these 3 times a day of each. One for breakfast, one of each for lunch, and one of each for dinner. So you'll be taking 3 total of each every day.
With or without food?
With food primarily.
Primarily.
With food primarily, yes, yes. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 1 each. The cardio kit that you do at night, there we go. This is an actual packet that you take at night. And now in week 5, we really drive home the reason as to why we're taking it at night, because it's working with your body's processes while you sleep, but I'll wait till then to get to be more detailed. But this little packet of pills you take either with dinner or you take it before you go to bed. If you have an issue taking a lot of pills at once, you can talk to me and we can figure out exactly which ones you need to take at night, because there's 2 of them here that really, really need to be taken at night. It's got the patented formula Cardio XLDL in it. It works with the arterial circulatory system, help getting circulation to the fingers and the toes. It really helps with neuropathy, cold hands, cold feet, all of those things. And so it needs to be taken at night specifically, okay? But this packet is taken at night. So that's it for supplements that you take in a day. And the other portion of this program is the protein shakes. Now, the protein shakes are pretty much considered food. You're going to be doing 2 scoops twice a day, so 2 protein shakes a day. You can use them as your snack or your meal. And of course, we're going to be doing some protein shakes tonight, so you can kind of see how you can do it differently and give you some different ideas if you don't want to just shake it up and go. All right, I'm a big believer in giving people as many options as they can on the protein shakes, because I don't want you to get bored. I want to make sure you've got plenty of things that you can find that will work for you as you continue on this program. The thing that makes this protein shake different than all the other ones out there is 2 things. First of all, it has something in it called phytosterols. Phytosterols are plant cholesterols. When you ingest plant cholesterols, it blocks your own body's absorption of its own cholesterol. By the way, you make more cholesterol in your body than you will ever eat, by the way, okay? Our liver actually produces cholesterol. That's where we get it from. It's not as much from food as we used to think it was, okay? But these phytosterols will block your own cholesterol levels, so that way they are not going up and they're coming down. This is how we get people off cholesterol medications. The second thing we have in there is inulin. And inulin is something that feeds that good bacteria. You can put in your good probiotic all day long, but if you don't create a healthy environment to live in, if you don't create some food for it to feed on, it's just going to die and go right on through you. So we've got to make sure we're taking care of the probiotic, and one of the ways we do that is with the protein shakes specifically. And of course, we talked about in the intro class, there's several different ones that you can choose from, and we'll be trying a couple of different ones tonight as it is. Anybody have any questions on the products portion of this before we move on to the nutrition?
Kind of hit about the berberine.
Yes, ma'am.
And you said something about metformin.
Yes. Most all your prescription drugs, in fact 75% of them are made from an herb. They are made from something the Creator put on this earth. All our prescription drugs are. Berberine happens to be the original form of metformin. So metformin, they've used berberine and they've manipulated it in a chemical sense and now are selling it as a prescription drug. You cannot patent an herb in this country. So therefore, if you want to patent something and make some money on it, you got to make it into a prescription drug. You got to change its chemical structure, which of course changing its chemical structure from the way it was originally intended. That's why you have side effects with prescription drugs. In fact, the FDA will not allow any prescription drugs to be released until they have a known side effect. A known side effect. And that's why you guys watch the TV and you say, oh, take this, it'll make you feel better. You'll be able to get up and play with the birds. La la la, and then may cause this, and this. They have to tell you. But they make a lot of money on that because if they just sold it like this, they wouldn't be in business. So that's how that works. Does that make sense?
Hey, Shar, I read some information recently about some clinical studies that have actually done on berberine. There's a lot of herbs they don't have clinical studies on and don't always have the support they do with the berberine. A lot of people were able to reduce the metformin as well as their insulin on that study,
Yes.
which I thought was pretty cool.
Yes, most definitely. Eddie,
Where can you find this study?
where can you find the study, Shiree?
I can send you the link. and you
I
can
would
send it
appreciate it.
Yes.
to everyone if you like.
Okay, he's gonna want that before, okay. Yes, David.
Funny thing I read a long time ago, something like rice that's whole,
Rice that's whole.
but nobody wanted to eat it that way, so they took that husk off the outside,
Yep.
and then they made that into vitamins.
Yes. Yes.
So it kicks you twice.
But it's, yeah, exactly. They do that with wheat. Wheat's the same way. When they strip the wheat, they actually send part of the outer shell one direction and then the inner part the other direction, and so they're making a double deal on it. Yeah, most definitely. In fact, aluminum's that way. You're gonna get me on a roll here. When they started making aluminum in the early 1900s, is everybody on board with fluoride or not? Maybe I should say this. Okay. When they started making aluminum in the early 1900s, they had the residue that came off from the aluminum production. And what they ended up doing is because they didn't want that going into the atmosphere, they ended up changing the form into fluoride and then reselling it back to cities to have the cities put the fluoride in the water, which really doesn't do all that it's cracked up to do. Thank you, Eddie. He said it, not me. He said it, not me.
They put it in the key.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I knew a boy who got a fluoride treatment once and didn't leave the dentist's office alive. Yeah.
It will seriously kill you.
I've got information here on the pea protein shake, the whey protein shake, and on berberine. Also, I may not have enough of copies to go around for absolutely everybody, but if you're wanting some specific information on this, I know you definitely want some information on berberine. She's already talked to me about that. We'll get some information to you guys on the actual protein shakes and the berberine in of itself. But Shiree's right, berberine just is amazing. All right, so where am I at
One other
next?
question.
Yes.
It doesn't do you like metformin, does it?
No, you don't have the side effects from
Right,
it.
that's the thing.
You don't have the side effects because when things are created, they're created with all these different levels of constituents. Some of these constituents will like increase heart, blood pressure. One will lower it. One will do this. One will do, but they balance themselves out perfectly. Everything in creation is perfect, right? That's how it was intended, to be perfect. And then what we've done as man is we've come in and we've altered it, and we take out those constituents because we don't need them, right? But we've exemplified the one that gets the result that we're looking for. Digitalis is one of them. Foxglove. You guys are familiar with digitalis. Foxglove is actually the original herb for that. But what they do is they take that most active ingredient out and throw the others in the trash, and now we no longer have the natural balance that's perfect in nature. And that's what happens. So yeah, you're not gonna have the side effects with berberine because of that. As long as you've got a good source of it. I need to make sure I say that too. Okay, all right. So any other questions on the shakes or the supplements or any of that before we move on? All right, let's go to page number 7. So I'm sure you guys all got a little kick out of this, but it is a very serious thing. Understanding that food is information. When we understand, or overstand as I like to say, that when we eat food, we're giving information to our gut. And that gut is going to react according to that information. If you're going to eat a big old slice of cake with big old thick icing on it, the information is, pancreas, get ready. We need to put out some more insulin really fast. Let's go. That's the information you're sending in, right? If you're eating a good, healthy piece of chicken breast and you're putting that in, what kind of information you give in the gut? Let's get ready to build some more tissues. Let's get ready to maintain and making sure our tissues are strong, maybe even build some lean muscle mass. That's the information we're giving our gut. And we're going to talk more about digestion and how that whole process works as we go through the classes. But this is important. This right here is just as many calories as this does. There is no difference in an avocado and a donut for calories. But it is a world difference of information. That avocado is going to give you good healthy fats and potassium, help you balance your blood sugars, do all sorts of fun things. The donut is just going to make you maybe feel a little sick to your stomach if you're sensitive to sugar like I am, and stress your pancreas more than it needs to be. Okay, so food is information. That's why the nutritional program is so important as we go through this program. I will tell you though, you will hear me say this a lot, progress, not perfection. So even though I'm going to go through the rules, that doesn't mean that you have to leave here tonight and follow it 100%. What it means is let's start moving that direction, finding things that you can do to make this happen. Okay? That's the other reason it's a 13-week program. You can't expect anybody to do this. I talked about this last night in the other first class. I had one lady last January. We got into week 2, and she was stressing out. I got to quit the program. I can't do the program. And I'm like, what's wrong? What do you mean you got to quit the program? She goes, I just can't do it all perfect. I'm like, no. We're not meant to do it perfect. Your body probably wouldn't be able to handle you doing it perfect. You have so many detox effects, you'd be like, okay, this woman's she's a quack. I don't feel good at all because you're detoxing. But I'm just saying, I want you to focus on doing things as fully and as closely as you can. But remember, it's not perfection, it's progress. And we make that progress every single day. So let's look at page number 7. Oh. But one more quote first. Sorry, this is really important. Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison lived from 1847 to 1931. You're going to like this one, Eddie. You're going to like this one. Ready? This is what Thomas Edison said. The doctor of the future will no longer treat the human frame with drugs, but rather will cure and prevent disease with nutrition. Eddie, when did prescriptions come into play? What years?
Probably early 20th century.
Early 1900s, you bet. Yep, exactly. Penicillin was one of our first drugs. But I find this really interesting that Thomas Edison said this. What a light bulb, right? Had to use it. Had to use it.
That was good fun.
Had to. But he passed in 1931, and he already knew this when prescription drugs had only been out a mere 30 years. So anyways, that's what we're doing with our nutrition. And I will say, of all the years that I have consulted and had clients come in and out of my door, I can sell you a ton of herbs, and I can sell them to you fast, and you can walk out with a lot less money in your checkbook. But honestly, if you don't address your nutrition, what you do every day, what you put in your body every single day, you're not ever going to have the long-term results we're looking for. Nutrition is key. It really is. So, The best thing about this meal plan is there's no counting calories. There's no weighing anything out. If you've got your hand with you, you can figure out how much you're supposed to eat, okay? The hand is the rule. So like, for instance, David's hand is going to be a different size than Lynn's hand, and probably Georgetta's hand, and a few other people. So that means he gets to eat differently, right? Because of his body structure.
I like you already.
I like you too. We're doing well, aren't we? But it's your hand. If you got your hand with you, you can figure this out. So one thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing 3 meal proteins per day. 3 meal proteins. And a meal protein is going to be the size of your palm, which is right up underneath your fingers, down to where your thumb joint attaches, and then right to the top of your wrist. That's your palm. That's a meal size protein. So if you're going to have a chicken breast, if you're going to have a steak, that's your size. 1/2 inch thick. The 1/2 inch thick is for everybody, by the way. Okay? 1/2 inch thick, that size. That's your meal size protein. 3 of those per day.
Not 6?
And our shakes don't count?
They can. We'll talk about that in a moment. We're mainly talking about things that we can measure,
Okay.
like this right there. Okay, we'll talk about that more in a bit, Sarah. So your snack proteins, we're doing 2 snack proteins a day. And those 2 snack proteins are going to be 1/2 your palm. So if you take your thumb joint here, you go straight across, right up to the top to where your fingers meet, that's your snack size protein. Okay? Now if you're going to be eating nuts for a snack protein, we've got numbers on that. On the next page we'll talk about that. But if you're like having some roll-up, healthy sliced meats, or like I said, chicken breast, turkey breast, steak, whatever it may be, that can give you an idea of what you're supposed to have. Okay, so 3 meal proteins, 2 snack proteins, 6 vegetables per day. This doesn't count your greens. We're going to get there in a moment. 6 vegetables per day. And it's either going to be a cup or a 1/2 a cup. Now, you don't need your measuring cup. You just need your hand again. So a cup for you is going to be your fist from the top of your wrist all the way up to the top of your knuckles. That's 1 cup. If you're eating broccoli or cauliflower, this is a 1 serving. A 1 cup serving. Okay? Now, if you're doing a 1/2 a cup serving, basically what that is going to be from your thumb joint there again, all the way up to the top of your fist, the knuckles. That's a 1/2 cup. So if you're having cut up carrots, or maybe you slice up some green peppers, that's going to be your 1/2 a cup serving, which is going to be 1 serving. That's how you kind of figure that. And then on the next couple of pages, it tells us some of the vegetables to break that all down. But you just got to remember, I mean, obviously broccoli and cauliflower got more airspace, so we've got to do a larger portion of that versus something that has less airspace. Fresh greens, 5 ounces per day. This is the only thing you have to get familiar with that you can't really use your hand for. If you've ever gone to the grocery store and you bought the spring mixes that are in the little plastic container, there's a large one about like this, it's 10 ounces, and there's a smaller one about like this. It's 5 ounces. And yes, I said 5 ounces of greens per day. It's really, really important to get these in. It could be collards, it could be kale, it could be spinach, it could be any of your spring mixes, anything that's leafy, green, or even the radicchio, which is also kind of a purplish color. But we're looking for leaf, is what we're looking for. Yes, Eddie?
Is that the maximum amount?
It is not the maximum amount. No, no.
Uh-oh, she's going,
Very excited when you get at least 5 ounces in.
just wait
No.
till she tells you what you can't have on.
And it can be sauteed, it can be in a salad. Miss Lynn here just throws it all in the blender and makes a protein shake of it, don't you?
With what else?
What else do you put in it, Lynn?
Sometimes I put dark cherries,
Dark cherries,
and sometimes avocado or chia seed.
avocado, chia seed, and your protein mix too, right? Or protein powder? Yeah.
And water?
Water?
I use coconut water.
Coconut water? Yeah. Great. So she just gets it all in.
One
But-
little day.
Yeah.
Is cabbage a leafy green?
But you're, yes,
It is?
yes, cabbage will be a leafy green,
With
yes.
a list of these?
It's actually gonna be in your book, yes, we'll get to that in a moment, so you can get more specific. But yes, so the greens can be done lots of different ways, most definitely. And the other thing is, on the smoothie thing, Dark cherries work really good to cover up a green taste. So that's why they work so well, is the dark cherries. The next thing we're gonna do is 1 fruit per day. 1 fruit per day. I know that sounds kind of goofy to start off with, but remember, we are going to be starving this bad bacteria to get rid of it. Anybody know what feeds bad bacteria? Sugar. Fruit, even though it is made of a natural sugar, is still sugar. That's why this is a 13-week program. We are going to stop feeding that bad bacteria for 13 weeks and as much as we possibly can so we can eliminate it, get rid of it, and let the good bacteria be in charge. Okay? 1 fruit serving per day is what we do in this program. And I'll tell you a little bit more about what fruits I suggest in a bit. That's going to be that's going to be varied, obviously, there again, just like the vegetables, as far as the size. Legumes are optional, but I can tell you that legumes are going to be, there again, a starch, which is a sugar. So, you know, it's either kind of like the fruit or the legumes, the fruit or the legumes. Personally, I like my fruit in my smoothies. It makes me happy when I know in the morning I can get up and have a dark cherry smoothie. And anyway, so that's how I like to use them, but it's up to you. If you're vegetarian, obviously, we do need to work around legumes a little bit more. Dairy is optional, 1 serving per day. Fats and oils, a really big one, 5 per day. You need to have healthy fats and oils 5 times per day. Yes.
Which says to me, I basically take fatty acid that's 6, 9, and 3.
Yes.
Could you do that? You definitely need to take fats. How would you suggest?
Well, there's several different types of fats that are acceptable. And I want to tell you, I know 5 servings a day sounds like a lot. But when you look at an avocado, 1/8 of an avocado is 1 serving of fat. So if you eat half of an avocado, you've literally got 4 servings of healthy fat in. 1 teaspoon of olive oil, a serving of fat. I think it's a tablespoon of hemp seed hearts and a teaspoon of chia seeds. Flax seeds, I think, are a tablespoon also. All of those are going to be 1 serving. Now, I will tell you, if you go over on your fats, and they're the healthy fats, I will be the last person to complain. Okay? I would rather see you eat a lot more healthy fats if at all possible. We are in a society that is healthy fat deficient. We really are, and we really tear that apart in week number 5. Okay?
I've got a question on your fats.
Yes.
So, like when you're cooking, like last night I made peppers and onions and squash and
Yes.
mushrooms. And I used olive oil
Yes.
to cook in. So is that going to count as the fat?
It's going to count as some of the fat, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. In your salad dressings, that's going to count as well. Like Lynn was saying, she likes to put chia seeds in, that's going to count as well. I mean, it's really easy to get a lot of fats in once you start figuring it out. But yeah, but like I said, I'm going to be one of the last people to complain if you do too many. Okay? Because we really need more.
What's chicken like when you fry it in olive oil?
That's going to be another serving of fat.
I mean, what's it taste like?
What's it taste like? Oh, I don't know.
Great.
He doesn't know I do it.
Great.
Great.
Tastes good.
Great.
Tastes great.
She says great.
We have canola
I'm going with her.
Olive oil.
Yeah, olive oil. Not, yeah. We're not going to be using canola oil, but we'll talk about that later. Okay. All right, so the other things we need to be doing is we need to be aiming towards every 2 to 3 hours eating or snacking. So we need to aim every 2 to 3 hours, either have a snack or have a meal. Really important for our blood sugars. Really important for helping us with cravings. Really helpful for our energy levels. Eddie, you got something?
That is my problem. Let me explain. That's the reason why I really can't get my diabetes under control. I eat maybe once, maybe twice a day, a nice big meal.
Yeah.
But that eating
It'll make all the difference in dealing with blood sugar issues. Step by step. That's why we're here 13 weeks. One step at a time. See, now that may be a problem for you, but it may not be a problem for somebody else. So this is why this is so cool to have groups. We can kind of bounce off each other and help each other out. The other thing we want to do is we want to aim to getting our protein in within 1 hour of waking up. That's really important also for blood sugar levels. Focus. and energy levels also. So we're going to aim to get our protein in within 1 hour of waking up. And we're also going to aim to have no food or meals past 8 o'clock at night. That's if you go to bed at 10 or 11. If you go to bed at 12 or 1, then you can push that back a couple of hours. But I don't want you going to bed on a full stomach. Okay, we want to give the body time to digest while you're awake, so while you sleep, the body can do what it's supposed to be doing, which we talk about that in the modules as well. Water is the last thing. So it's important that you drink a minimum of water equal to half your body weight in ounces. If you weigh 150 pounds, your minimum water needs to be 75 ounces per day. Okay? This does not count the water that goes in your protein shakes.
Oh.
It I know.
Wait, back up.
Whoop. Does not count the water in your 1 cup of coffee you get a day.
But
It
there's
does-
water in it?
I know, but it's been changed. It needs to be pure straight water. It can be lemon water. It can be chlorophyll water. It can be herbal teas. I'll take an herbal tea as part of your water, but we just got to be careful about understanding that. Next week we're going to talk more about the proper way to input water to get the most out of it. So up to a minimum of 100 ounces of water per day. So I will push you to go towards the 100 ounces of water as we move through the program, just so that you're aware of that. Questions? Sarah's like, wait a minute, I changed my mind. No, it's okay, really.
I did
When-
more today, but I didn't.
When I give you an explanation next week as to why the water and how the water, it will all fall into place for you. Gotta trust me on that one. So page number 8 gives us an idea of a meal plan we could put together for us. You know, as Eddie's saying, my problem is getting all this in 2 to 3 hours. This kind of gives us a guideline. Nothing you have to follow, but it may be something you want to follow if it is a challenge to get that many meals and snacks in per day. Page number 9 gives us our essential food list. So it breaks down the proteins. You can see here, of course, there again, meal portions are palm size, while snack sizes are 1/2. It does say fish and shellfish on there. I will tell you I'm not a big fan of shellfish because it is highly toxic, much like most pork is also. So I'm not a big fan of pork either. That's why it's not on this list. Thank you. Whew, got right to that one. With eggs, they say 2 eggs are going to be a meal protein. I don't buy it because really I think 3 eggs are more of a meal protein. 2 eggs may be more of a snack, okay, when you look at that. So if you're buying large eggs, 3 eggs would be a meal, 2 eggs would be closer to a snack, like if you're hard boiling them or something, want to snack around. And of course it goes through cheeses and different things like that, but remember you got 1 dairy per day. The next column is nuts, gives you all the recommended nuts, such as peanuts, 20 whole, pecans, 10, halves, cashews, 14, gives you an idea of how many nuts you can have for snack size protein. Remember, nuts are only snacks. They're not meals. Nuts are loaded full of calories, and even though the nutrients are wonderful, we actually don't want to eat those for a meal. Those need to be our snacks, okay? Tahini is something else you guys can write on your list there under nut seed butters. Tahini is it's like like peanut butter, but it's made from sesame seeds. Good stuff. Yes, yes.
Can you buy it? I mean, where do you buy it?
Next door. Next door.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yes.
Tahini. Yes. Yep. You bet.
How do you spell that?
Tahini. I've had tahini butter cookies before. Tastes just like a peanut butter cookie. You would never know the difference unless somebody told you.
How many can you eat?
Well, I'm just saying. I've tried them before.
I'm going to write that down.
I like a little bit of Asian food once in a while. I make a peanut sauce, but I make it with tahini. Yeah, I like to stay away from the peanuts if I can. Should be covered later.
Man, what's the difference on the olive oil butter? I like it real well.
Olive oil butter, as long as it's just a pure olive oil butter and it's not filled with, because sometimes they back that with canola oil and some other oils that are not so healthy, so you really need to read your ingredient list on that one. Yeah, definitely. Vegetables are next. You guys can read through that on your own. It just tells you lots of different types of vegetables, giving you an idea of whether it would be a cup or a half cup serving. Page number 10, fresh lettuces and greens. I've already notated some of those you could have in addition to arugula, mustard greens, Swiss chard, all sorts of different greens we have for options there. Fruits. We're going to recommend that we are avoiding all dried fruits and fruit juices. Very high in sugar. There again, we don't want to feed that bad bacteria when we're doing all this wonderful work for ourselves. There's a list here of all sorts of different fruits you can do. I will tell you that I am not a fan of bananas and grapes on the program. Highest in sugar.
Grapes are?
Grapes are, yes, yes. But I will tell you doing berries is the best fruit you can possibly do, whether they're blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, berries. Berries are wonderful.
So cherries are good?
Cherries, you bet, you bet. Not only are they healthy for you, they have lower sugars, and they also have high antioxidants and a lot more vitamins and minerals than all of your other fruits, considering the low sugar level. So I do a lot of smoothies. In fact, tonight we're doing a berry bliss smoothie that I'm using blueberries and strawberries for. But you'll see me do that a lot. But I'm a big fan of berries. Oils and fats is underneath that. We've got recommended oils and fats. You can read through that yourself. I have 2 things for you to add to that list. One of them is hemp seed hearts. This is one of my best friends, especially in my smoothies in the morning. Hemp seed hearts are very high in protein, very high in 3s and 6s for your fats in a perfect balance, as nature intended. A tablespoon of this is 1 serving of fat. Really like these for adding this to, and you can actually sprinkle this on your salads too. You don't just have to put it in smoothies.
I have a question about hemp seed.
Yes,
Because
drug
I don't-
testing.
I don't know a whole lot about it, but that's what I think about. is
Yes, yes.
Drug testing and.
There is supposed to be no TLC in here, and that's what would be tested by that. If you're gonna eat a lot of hemp seed hearts, and you potentially may be getting tested, I wouldn't do that. But if you do minimal amounts, you're okay. But, we can talk about that more specifically if that's a concern. But I don't think you're gonna do a bunch of hemp seed hearts in your smoothie in the morning, and your boss is gonna go, "What's up with you today? You're a little extra happy?" No, I'm uninformed, really.
On those seeds, are they salted or unsalted?
They're not salted at all.
They're unsalted.
Yeah, you can get hemp seed, like the actual seeds. I like these because these are the hearts. What they do is they just press them down, so they're not ground, but they're just pressed down. They're easier to absorb, The other thing is chai seeds. Some people call them chia seeds. 1 teaspoon of chai seeds a day would be 1 fat.
Probably even
The next column talks about legumes, possible beans you might want to do. We've got dairy, that's all in there. Beverages is water and herbal teas unlimited. And when I say herbal teas, I don't mean Lipton herbal teas. I mean actual herbal teas, herb teas, okay? Yes, Eddie?
Could you sweeten the herbal tea with xylitol? Would that be fine?
As long as it's non-GMO, yes. Yep, and we'll talk about that down the road as well, the GMO factor. Yes, Pam?
Does that mean I need to cut out my fruity
No. Well, okay,
teas?
so
Because it has a little bit of sugar.
as long as you're doing those in between meals, you're okay. Because you've already gone through the program and everything. I think you're gonna be okay with doing those, because that's just natural fruit juices that are fermented, but that's food for your gut. It's not just like drinking a regular fruit juice, okay? So it's different. The other thing is tea or coffee. So like 1 coffee a day is what we're shooting for. I will tell you, and I said this in the intro class, that many people actually lose their craving for coffee on this program. As your microbiome adjusts and the good bacteria is in charge, literally what happens is you will no longer crave things that you have been doing for years.
Still recording.
Okay? Yes. All right. And anyways, okay. And then we got recommended condiments and sweeteners, dill, oregano, basil, cinnamon, all of those things. You've got some sweeteners there. I will tell you I'm not a fan of soy sauce. I would prefer you do something called tamari, Tamari, if you like soy sauce. Tamari is a fermented type of soybean. That's a healthier version for you than just regular soy sauce. The other sweetener I would add to this would be agave. Agave is a natural sweetener. It has a consistency of like maple syrup. It has a low glycemic index to it. It's very acceptable for people who have blood sugar issues, although you still want to limit it to no more than a tablespoon at a time, okay?
What do you use it for? Sweet?
Yeah, you can use it for sweeteners. You could put it in your tea. You could, when we do like French toast or something like pancakes, we use agave. We don't ever use maple syrup. Yeah, at all.
And bake with it too.
Yeah, you bake with it, you bet. Sharon.
What kind of fruit is agave?
Agave is actually a plant from like Mexico and below. It's a cactus, yeah. It's like, yeah, it's the stuff inside.
But one thing I will tell you about agave, you must be careful because it will mess your stomach up very bad.
Really?
Yeah.
I see, I hear that more about xylitol. That xylitol will do that if you're not careful. But yeah, that probably could be, but then again, you know, agave is actually sweeter, in my opinion. It tastes sweeter, so that could be one of the
Yeah, it
reasons
is
why,
sweeter.
you know, that especially if there's blood sugar
It's
stuff.
not recommended for people that have IBS.
IBS? Well, thank you. David?
What about salt?
What about salt? So we're gonna steer towards sea salt. Himalayan salt is one of the best ones you can get, that pink salt, because it has more minerals and more density of nutrients in it. It hasn't been stripped. And obviously, salt is not like an issue that we like really focus on in this particular group
I noticed
because,
it does things,
yeah,
like if it's too much salt will make me hungry fast, like Chinese food.
yeah, yeah. That could be the MSG too.
Well, like other salty things.
Yeah, other salty things too.
Lots of water.
Yeah, the 15
Yeah.
pounds of water.
That could be it. And then as Eddie mentioned, xylitol is also acceptable as long as it's a non-GMO form.
What is it? I've never heard of it.
Xylitol is just like a powdered sweetener. Yeah, they're again from a plant. Yeah. And usually comes from corn. That's why you need to make sure it's non-GMO.
So
Yeah.
like, Splenda?
Splenda, yeah, no artificial sweeteners at all, and we'll hit that hard in week 7 when we cover sugars. But yeah, we want to stay away from all artificial sweeteners whatsoever. They actually make you crave more food and make you hungrier.
Well, I was showing my ignorance here. I thought that Splenda was made from fruit. That's why I've been.
Originally, until they changed it. That's what they did when they came out with Splenda, is they did the big, oh, it's a natural sugar, but they still had to alter it to do what it's doing. You can't have a natural sugar and not have any calories. That don't happen. And calories really aren't that bad. It's just what kind of calories they are, you know. Okay, any questions?
Evil's not good either.
Oh, it's horrible. Horrible. That's probably the worst of all evils when it comes to artificial sweeteners. Most definitely. All right. You want to lose your memory? Take a lot of equal.
Yep.
So page number 11 and number 12 give you kind of a suggested 7-day meal plan. There again, if it's something you want to follow because it makes it easier for you to plan, then do so. If not, it's not mandatory. It's just there to help you organize your meal plan. If you come to something like I had a lady last September, she said, I don't like olives, what do I do? I'm like, well, olives are a fat. So turn to the page to fats and find another fat and replace it. So if you like to follow something specific, just learn how to change those things back and forth, whether it's protein, fat, vegetable, whatever it may be. One more thing on the nutrition. Did anybody hear me say pasta?
Nope,
Oatmeal?
nope,
Potatoes?
nope.
Oh, no.
Oh no. Rice?
Because they're white.
No rice?
French fries?
Oh, no.
Does that include cream of wheat?
Yes, ma'am. It does. I have a better version of that for you after the 13-week program, by the way.
Okay.
Remind me in a few weeks, okay? So here's the thing. Bad bacteria feeds on sugar. All carbohydrates break down into sugar. If we're going to get rid of all of these sugars and all this bad bacteria, we've got to stop feeding it the sugars. Now, anyway, reset, remove. We've got to remove all of this stuff. that are gonna feed that bad bacteria. And one of the major ways to do it is through your nutrition. Now, I'm not saying you can never go back to your carbohydrates. This is just for the program only. Because once you get that bad bacteria out and that good bacteria back in charge like it's supposed to be, you will be in the driver's seat, you'll be able to make healthier choices for yourself, and you'll be able to go back to eating a certain amount of carbs depending on your particular constitution. Okay? And I will be here to help you with that transition when we get to the end of the program. I don't just leave you hanging. Okay? I'm going to help educate you on what kind of carbohydrates would be best for your system to maintain that healthy balance in your gut. All right? So just so everybody knows, no oatmeal, no potatoes, no pastas, no breads, no tortillas,
No rice.
no rice. Did I miss anything?
Eat it tonight and say
Yeah,
bye-bye.
exactly. Sharon.
Have you heard then that the little red potatoes, they have less sugar because they're healthier than the white potatoes now?
Yes, they are, but they still are a starch and break down into sugar. And in fact, when we go into the maintenance program, that's one of the, when you get back on potatoes, that's the one I recommend.
So it's how much you eat of the item.
After the
That
program
makes a
itself.
difference.
Yes, but for now, if you just have to have a potato, do that potato. If you just have to, or a sweet potato, a yam, that'll work too. If you have to have it.
Well, I don't have to have, I don't eat
Okay.
them that much because
Okay.
and when I do, it's a
Okay.
little bit, not a lot. Everything's moderate.
And speak,
Alcohol, did you say alcohol?
I didn't say alcohol, thank you. I got reminded on that last night also, isn't that funny? Yeah, no alcohol, if at all possible. If you need a glass of red wine, have it.
Oh, red wine's okay.
Red wine is okay in moderation, as in maybe once a week.
Does that mean like spelt tortillas or Ezekiel, you can't have any?
Those are the things that we will move into after the program. Pam, you of course are a little different because you've been through the program. So depending on how much you want to put into this round, I would tell everybody else that's new, no spelt tortillas and no Ezekiel bread either. Yeah, even though those are great choices.
There are some substitutes made with almonds and coconuts that you have to watch out for added sugar.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. All right, any questions on the foods, acceptable, not acceptable, how this all works?
Does wine go down as a fat?
Wine just goes down as a, I just had a glass of wine. Thank you, Sarah, because that brings me to my next thing. I don't believe in the word cheating. We don't use that word in this class. You don't cheat. You have flex nights. Not flex days, but flex nights. If you're a light at the end of the tunnel person like I am, I'm going to do super well all week long as I know Friday night I can have my glass of wine, I can have my buffalo burger, wrap it in my spelt tortilla, and maybe even some red potato fries on the side. If that's what gets me through the week, and if that's what gets you through the week, that's what's called a flex night. You just make the best choice you can. Whatever gets you through. I'm just saying, I don't want you to think you have to do everything perfect out the door. If you're one of those people, if you have a little bit and you can't handle it because then you got to have more, then no flex nights for you. That's the other reason why I say flex night, because if you start off as a flex breakfast, then we kind of have a problem because then it's like a flex day. So anyway, we'll talk about that more a little bit next week. Page number 13, I'm going to let you guys go through that on your own since we're cutting down on time a little bit. Just gives you some more options and ideas of how to do the healthiest choices for your foods. Page number 14, exercise plan. No one's running a marathon. No one has to get a gym membership. We just need to move, okay, whatever that is. You need to take a look at your exercise level where you're at right now. And I just want to encourage you to bump that up. I've got one lady I'm working one-on-one with. She just gets up and does some major stretches for 20 minutes. In fact, she was here when you were here earlier.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I was hoping you didn't walk in, but she was showing me her exercises on the phone this morning. I thought, well, that's good. But seriously, but she's moving. She's moving. She's stretching. She's getting her body going. She's not just sitting there on the couch doing nothing. We are going to work on encouraging more and more exercise as we go through this process. But I just want you to think, how can I get a little bit more exercise in? And I will tell you, the best exercise is the exercise you will do. Okay, that's the best exercise. The exercise you will do, all right? And if you need figures, I actually have figures, and Shiree can even help you out with this as far as intensity. When you are working out, you want to make sure you stay in a fat burning mode, not an anaerobic mode. Anaerobic mode is when you're going so fast you can't even have a conversation with somebody and you get a gut ache. We're not looking for that. Y'all take a walk together, push yourselves, but you can have a friendly conversation. That's a perfect fat burn zone. Okay?
That's what I was thinking, the talk test.
The talk test. You
So
call it. That's a
having
good one.
Breathing in between syllables, maybe every few words, you might take a breath. That's an indication of how hard you're working out.
Yeah.
Full sentences, it may not be hard enough unless you're just getting started exercising,
Yeah.
and that's different.
Yeah. The talk test. You need to be able to talk.
Yes.
But if you can do 2 sentences without taking a deep breath, you're probably not pushing it enough. When we get into the fat burning mode. Okay, questions on exercise? So the last beauty of this whole program is your coaching and your group support and all the information we're going to learn each week. Next week we're going to talk about SMART goals. We're going to talk about the word diet. We're going to talk about how we can just really get you encouraged to get moving on building your foundation as we move forward on this program. The week after that, we talk about toxicity in the environment, toxicity in your personal care items, toxicity in your foods, toxicity everywhere, getting you more aware. We talk about fats and the heart. We talk about stress and hormones and how all of those things affect the gut microbiome. And that's why this is a several-week class as it is because it takes some time to get through that information and to make sure everybody has a full understanding of what that information is and can find ways to implement it into their lives. So that's the best part. We're also going to be, I'll be giving out samples every week of different products we'll be talking about. We'll be doing smoothies every week. I like to do those varied smoothies just to give you lots of ideas, and we'll be doing that every week. But basically, in a nutshell, what we're here to do, and the people who are at the intro class know what I'm talking about. We're here to build a healthy fish tank, your gut. That's pristine and beautiful with healthy fish that are getting fed and happy in a wonderful environment. And that's our whole goal, is to get to this wonderfully healthy gut so we can feel better, look better, have more energy, have a quality of life maybe we don't have now, or maybe continue to keep the quality of life we have now, whichever it is in your case. So that's what we're here to do. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I really appreciate your time. I know there's a couple of you I need to follow up with some things on. I've got you guys and Sharon to talk to about BioTracker readings yet. I think Marietta, we've got to get some measurements for you yet tonight and talk about a couple other little things. I am going to do some smoothies real quick so you guys can try some smoothies. If you need to talk to me about ordering product or how to get product or what you need for product, please let me know that as well. But there again, I thank you guys very much for being here. Also, yes, ma'am. Oh yeah, make sure you turn those in. Thank you, Sarah. There's that box right there above Sharon's head, right across from Jennifer. That box, see that? That's where you're going to turn in those beginning forms for me. Make sure that those get filled out and get put up there for me. Also, you may want to write on those forms what night you plan on being here. So I can have that, I don't have to be calling you and asking you. So give me an idea if you're going to be here on the Monday night class or the Tuesday night class on a regular basis. And I understand that sometimes you'll be here on one day because you can't be here on the other day. That's why I designed it the way I designed it. But if you can just give me an idea so I can be a little more prepared when we do the class. So, any questions?
You were talking to the young lady back here, and you said that at the end of the program you were going to give her substitute for, I believe, cream of wheat.
Cream of wheat, yes.
Could you be kind of thinking about maybe a substitute for grits?
For grits, actually this one would fit for that as well. Same thing. Yeah, definitely. All right, thank you all very much.